Hello, in this Kotlin programming video, we are going to cover constructors. So if you haven't done the basic example project for classes and objects, I highly recommend doing so. This is going to be building on top of that. So what's a constructor? The constructor is something that is run when you create an object of that class. As you can we've created two objects of it. Maybe you want to do some initial setup, and constructors are a great way of going about that. So to set up a constructor, there's actually a few different ways. Kotlin has a few unique ways which you won't see in most languages, so I'll cover them so you can choose which one you want. So you put the keyword in it, which is short for initialize, some curly braces, so it's like a function, and here you do any setup. And I'm just going to show you a print line first. I'm going to say hello. Hello there. And if I were to scroll down, I'll uncomment these out. And as you can see, the first thing that is printed out is the car model in terms of the main. But what you'll see is when we run it, hello there, it's printed out twice because we've created two instances of this. So when this object is created, it calls the init method. So that is really useful if you want to do some initial setup. And some of the setup that you might do is, instead of having these variables like there, you would have something like that here. You would get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this, and this. So here, the only thing you would have is the data type, like specifying the variable and the data type, and you do all your setup here. And that also works the same way. Also, if you're doing some more complex setup, maybe you're doing some checks, potentially this is linked to a database, you could do the linkage in here, get some information. Maybe there's some defaults in the database and they would be stored into the variables. So this is what the init method is. You can use something else as well. So this is what you would call a primary constructor. You can use a secondary constructor as well. So let me show you how to use a secondary constructor, and this will look more familiar to other constructors in other programming languages. So you use the keyword constructor, open close brackets, and in here again we can do stuff like, let's say print line, let's say secondary constructor. And if I run it, let's see what we get. I realize I've spelled secondary wrong. Scroll up, as you can see, first the init method is always called. That's the primary constructor. Then the constructor for each object that is created. So this line calls the init, and then it calls the constructor method as well. And the same for this one. Okay, the great thing about this one is, as you can see, there's brackets here, so we can pass in variables as you normally would with any other method. So maybe we have a variable for, maybe you have to specify the model, you have to specify it, and we would do, let's say colon string, and then in here you would do model equals m. And here, as you can see, we've got a red squiggly line because this is saying this method here, these open close brackets are calling the constructor. If you're wondering how was it working when we didn't have a constructor implemented, if you don't have one implemented, the compiler adds one, like a default empty one anyway. So that's essentially the way it was still working. So here, if I add, some sort of model, I'll say Honda over here, or Toyota. And now if I were to run it, as you can see, this one says BMW because it's been overwritten here, but car2 model was never overwritten, so it still has Toyota. That's when the secondary, or the secondar constructor was called. So this is great if you want to pass in some default values. You have to just do one variable as an extra task. Modify this so it accepts multiple variables, maybe one for current speed, maximum speed, and model, and assigns them. So if you want something quick and easy, the init method is great. If you want something a bit more complex, then the constructor is the way to go, and that's the secondary constructor. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to pop me a message, and as usual, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Actually, I'm going to change this. There we go. See you soon.